down, DeKalb police say, in her parents' driveway. Family members say Raesha was getting groceries out of the trunk when someone ambushed her from the side of the family's home on Kelly Chapel Road. They shot her multiple times. Her youngest son, just 8 years old, watched it all.
Words couldn't explain how bad it hurt for them to have witnessed that is unexplainable.
A Wednesday afternoon in DeKalb County, Georgia, Raesha Heard pulls into her parents' driveway after a simple trip to the grocery store. She's 31 years old, 2 months pregnant, and completely unaware that someone is watching her. As she opens her car trunk and reaches for the bags, her 8-year-old son steps outside to help. What happens next will haunt this family forever. 7 gunshots shatter the quiet neighborhood. Raesha collapses in the driveway. Her son screams. The shooter flees. What makes this case even more disturbing? This isn't the first time Justin Lewis has been suspected of murder. This is the story of a killer who thought he could get away with it twice. Raesha Heard was everything you'd want in a sister, a daughter, a mother. At 31, she had 2 young boys who meant the world to her, and now she was carrying a 3rd child. Her family remembers her as the life of the party, the one everyone gravitated toward. She treated everyone well, her sister would later say. She was always so sweet. She'd moved back into her parents' house on Kelly Chapel Road, not because she wanted to, but because she had to, because she was afraid. Because the man she'd been with had become dangerous. The relationship was over. She'd found the strength to walk away, but walking away from an abuser, that's when things can turn deadly. Raesha thought she was safe in her parents' driveway. She thought the nightmare was behind her. She was wrong. Justin Lewis, to the hip-hop community in New Orleans, he was known as Mad Muzik Cali, a rapper trying to make it big, someone who'd been grinding since childhood, inspired by the Hot Boys, stealing microphones from Family Dollar when he couldn't afford studio time. But to Raesha Heard, he was a nightmare. The abuse had been going on for years. Black eyes, hospital visits. At one point, Raesha needed staples in her head. Her family watched helplessly as the woman they loved disappeared behind bruises and excuses. When Raesha told him she was pregnant, his reaction was immediate, cold, demanding. Get rid of it. He claimed there was a possibility the baby wasn't even his. He wanted her to have an abortion. When she refused, the violence escalated. Months before her death, Lewis had already tried to kill her once. He fired shots at her car, but the clip fell out of his weapon. Raesha survived that day by pure luck. She finally found the courage to leave him. But Justin Lewis wasn't the type of man who accepted rejection. The threats kept coming. The stalking continued. And on October 11th, those threats became reality. Raesha needed groceries. Simple. Normal. The kind of errand millions of mothers do every day without thinking twice. She drove to the store, picked up what she needed, and headed back to her parents' house on Kelly Chapel Road. Her 8-year-old son was excited to help carry the bags inside. As Raesha pulled into the driveway and opened her trunk, she had no idea Justin Lewis was already there. Waiting, watching. Her son stepped outside, ready to help his mom with the groceries. That's when Lewis made his move. He approached the car. There may have been words exchanged. We'll never know. But what happened next was execution. 7 gunshots rang out through the quiet neighborhood. Twice in the back, once in the chest, once in the leg, once in the head. Raesha collapsed in the driveway, her groceries scattered around her. Her 8-year-old son watched his mother die in front of him. The child screamed, but there was nothing he could do. Justin Lewis got back in his car and drove away, leaving a pregnant woman dead, leaving a little boy traumatized forever. The woman who brought joy to every room she entered, was gone. The family inside the house heard the gunshots, 7 sharp cracks that cut through their peaceful afternoon. They ran outside and discovered a scene that would haunt them forever. Raesha lay in the driveway. Her groceries spilled across the concrete. Her 8-year-old son stood frozen, his mind struggling to understand what had happened to his mother. Emergency calls flooded the 911 system. Paramedics raced to Kelly Chapel Road, but they were too late. Raesha was already gone. The unborn child she carried, lost as well. Police arrived to find a family destroyed, and a young boy who had become the key witness to his own mother's murder. Between sobs, he told detectives everything he remembered. The car, the man, the moment his world fell apart. Detective interviews with the family revealed something chilling. They weren't surprised by who did this. They'd been expecting it. It was Justin, they told police without hesitation. We knew this day would come. Now the manhunt began. Justin Lewis vanished. After gunning down Raesha in broad daylight, he disappeared into the shadows. But in 2023, staying hidden isn't as easy as it used to be. DeKalb County detectives began tracking his digital trail, phone records, credit card transactions, social media accounts, every electronic breadcrumb that might lead them to a killer. The community rallied around the Heard family. Tips poured into the police department. People who'd seen Lewis, people who knew where he might be hiding. The net was closing, but he stayed one step ahead. Meanwhile, Raesha's family grew more frustrated with each passing day. Their sister was dead. Her killer was free, and worse, he was mocking them. Because Justin Lewis wasn't staying quiet during his time on the run. He was active on Instagram, posting stories, acting like nothing had happened, like he hadn't murdered a pregnant woman 24 hours earlier. The audacity was staggering. While police hunted him, while a family grieved, while an 8-year-old boy tried to sleep without seeing his mother's death replay in his mind, Lewis was online, living his life. Day 1 passed, then day 2, day 3. The killer remained free. What Justin Lewis did next revealed the mind of a true sociopath. While police searched for him, while Raesha's family planned her funeral, while her 8-year-old son woke up screaming from nightmares, Lewis was posting on Instagram like he was on vacation. Stories, photos, updates, as if he hadn't committed murder less than a week ago. But the psychological torture didn't stop there. Raesha's family, desperate for justice, posted about Lewis being wanted by police. They shared his photo. They begged the community to help find their sister's killer. Lewis saw the post, and he liked it. He actually clicked the heart button on a post calling for his own arrest. The family watched in disbelief as the notification popped up. The man who murdered their pregnant daughter was trolling them from hiding. I actually posted that he was wanted, and we were going to find him, and he liked it, Raesha's niece would later recall. He liked the status. But on October 19th, 8 days after the murder, Lewis's game finally ended. Police tracked him down in Forest Park and placed him under arrest. The monster was finally in custody. 6 years earlier, in May 2017, another woman was found dead in New Orleans. Her name was Sidni Dalcour. She was 22 years old, and she was Justin Lewis's wife. Sidni was discovered shot to death in her running car outside an apartment complex. The engine was still on, the radio still playing, but Sidni was gone. For 5 years, she had endured hell. Lewis beat her regularly. Black eyes became normal. Hospital visits were frequent. At one point, doctors had to put staples in her head after one of his attacks. Her family begged her to leave. They saw the bruises. They knew what was happening behind closed doors. But Sidni loved him. She believed he would change. She was married to Justin for 5 years. He was really abusive to her, Sidni's sister would later explain. He fought her a lot. He gave her black eyes. He put her in the hospital. When Sidni was found murdered, her family knew immediately who was responsible. We all instantly knew he had something to do with it, her cousin said. She had no problems with Nobody. She was loved. She was adored by everybody. But Lewis was never charged. The case went cold. Sidni's family never got justice. Until now, they thought he'd gotten away with murder. The parallels between Sidni Dalcour and Raesha Heard are impossible to ignore. Two women, both in relationships with Justin Lewis, both endured years of brutal domestic violence. Both tried to survive his rage. Sidni was shot to death in her car in 2017. Raesha was shot to death near her car in 2023, 6 years apart. Same killer, same method. The pattern of abuse was identical. It started with control, then isolation, then the beatings began. Hospital visits, broken bones, threats to kill them if they ever left. Both women's families watched helplessly as someone they loved disappeared into an abusive relationship. Both families tried to intervene. Both families failed to save them. We all instantly knew. Sidni's cousin had said about her murder. We knew it was Justin. Raesha's sisters said about hers. Two families. Same certainty. Same heartbreak. But here's the problem. Lewis was never prosecuted for Sidni's death. New Orleans police suspected him, but they couldn't make the case stick. Different jurisdiction, different detectives, no communication between departments. Lewis walked free in 2017, and that freedom gave him 6 more years to find another victim. If justice had been served for Sidni Dalcour, Raesha Heard might still be alive today. Justin Lewis now sits in the DeKalb County jail, charged with malice murder in the death of Raesha Heard. No bond, no freedom, no more victims. For the first time in 8 days, Raesha's family could finally sleep. We all slept well, her sister said after Lewis's arrest. The fear was over. The man who had terrorized their family was behind bars. But the legal battle is far from finished. Lewis faces life in prison if convicted. The evidence against him appears overwhelming. A child witness, digital evidence, a clear motive. His court case continues to move through the system. Raesha's family waits for the justice that Sidni's family never received. Raesha's death highlights a terrifying statistic that most people don't know. Homicide is the leading cause of death for pregnant women in America. Not complications from childbirth, not medical emergencies, murder. When a woman is pregnant and in an abusive relationship, her risk of being killed skyrockets. The pregnancy becomes a trigger for escalated violence. Raesha's family wants other women to learn from their tragedy. Domestic violence is real, her sister warned. People should recognize the signs early and get away before you get too attached. The warning signs were all there. The control, the isolation, the physical abuse, the threats. But recognizing the signs is one thing. Getting out safely, that's another battle entirely. 1 man, 2 dead women, children left traumatized forever. Justin Lewis may have thought he was untouchable after walking away from Sidni's murder in 2017, but Raesha's case is different. There's a witness. There's evidence. There's a prosecutor determined to get justice. The question that haunts both families is simple. Will Raesha finally get the justice that Sidni never received? Her 8-year-old son will carry the memory of that October afternoon for the rest of his life. Sidni's family still grieves a case that went cold, and somewhere out there, other women might be living with men who could become killers. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-797-233. Text START to 888-700-88. Don't wait until it's too late. Raesha Heard should be raising 3 children right now. Instead, she's gone. But her story can save others if we're willing to listen. If you want to stay informed about cases like this, subscribe for more investigative true crime coverage. And remember, the warning signs are always there. We have to be brave enough to see them.